Are you guys ready for Erik? Erik! Remember, keep it in the microphone stand, but stand close enough so they can hear you.
I joined the Army when I was 18 years old, and right after boot camp, they sent me to Germany. Now, the war had been over with for about 30 years by then. But when I got there to Germany, I looked around and I thought, I bet there are still some unrepentant Nazis around here. And I thought, what would I do if I were to come face to face with the real, hardcore Nazi? I mean, what do you say to those idiots? Well, shortly after I got there, another new guy came into our platoon. His name was Rubenstein. We called him Rube. Now, Rube was kind of a short, quiet guy, but he and I hit it off really well. We became best buddies. And Rube was the only Jewish guy in our platoon. So I called him aside once and I said, Rube, if any Germans ever give you any crap about being Jewish, I said, you come to me and I'll back you up 100%. Well, as time went on, I got out into German society quite a bit. I met hundreds of Germans. From what I could tell, they were a very tolerant people. It was like they had come to terms with their past. They'd eradicated all traces of Nazism. So after a while, I didn't think about that issue because it was not relevant. And one time, they sent Rube and I on this air mission with about half of our platoon on an air mission to southern Germany, to Bavaria. When the mission was completed, they cut us loose on the nearest town to blow off a little steam. Rube and I were walking through this town. We come across this little backstreet pub. We stop in for a beer. Now, we were wearing our Army field jackets, so everybody could see that we were American GIs. That was usually no big deal at the time. We had our name tags on our field jackets. Heen, a Norwegian name, and Rubenstein. We sat down, and there were these three German guys sitting kind of diagonal from us. They looked like they'd had quite a bit to drink. One of these guys caught my attention, and he lifted his beer mug up like that. And he said, so half the bar could hear him, he said, "Here's to America." Well, Rube and I looked at each other, and we thought, it's acceptable, like, why not? So we lifted our beer mugs up, and we took a swig, and we drank to America. And one of these other guys sitting with him, he lifted his beer mug up, and he said, "And here's to Germany." And this guy looked right at Rube, and he said, "And here's to the pure German blood." So there it was. I was face to face with one of these guys. And that question came back to me again. What do you say to these idiots? But my mind went blank because I hadn't thought about the issue for 2 years. All I could think about was, I don't want any trouble with these guys. So I turned to Rube to tell him, let's go. But here Rube lifted his beer mug up again to these guys. I'm thinking, Rube, what the hell are you doing? Don't you know what these guys are? Then Rube said, Mazel tov, motherfuckers! Well, that German guy, he just mumbled something and looked away. The Germans next to us were cheering Rube on. By now, he was standing up, and he still had that beer mug just thrust toward that guy's face in total defiance, and I thought, yeah, that's what you say to those idiots. Thank you.